Welcome to the channel. Today I have a video from Sigma Trends. This is a good example showing that women are upset after men are walking away because they've been rejected. Let's watch the video.
She believed the intersectional feminist girl boss lie, and how's that working out for you?
Does anyone else just work their ass off for like the last 3 or 4 years for like a college degree, and now you have a job that you hate and you still can't afford life and you're still miserable and you can't pay any of your bills and you can't live in the house that you imagine and you just feel lied to?
Oh, you almost had it. You're gonna be quicker than that.
You thought that if you just went to college and got a degree, you'd be able to afford a house and like things that make you happy, but yet you're still barely can afford groceries or clothes or literally anything that makes you happy at all, and you had to spend the whole entire weekend in your bed because you literally don't have any money to go do anything other, like if you buy food you just can't have an entertainment budget. So I'm just wondering if anyone else is dealing with something like this or if it's just me, because this ain't it.
Gotcha, bitch.
At 27, a hardworking, honest man cannot even compete with the attention that you can get from the volume of men on social media. However, fast forward 20 years, at 47, you would give a limb to have an honest, hardworking man who dedicated his life to you instead of the volume of men who would give you momentary attention.
When a woman says no, men no longer look back or ask why. My friends and I often use a common phrase when discussing this. A man has better things to do in this demanding world than to sob over a woman who doesn't want him. It has become a trend, and women are beginning to notice that men no longer waste time pleading for acceptance. As one friend put it, "Why should I have to beg a woman to accept me when I am the one who will ultimately be responsible for her?"
Do you notice the men are no longer persuasive? Once they ask you out on a date and you say no, that's it. Yeah, because, honey, if he wanted to play games, he'd go over to his niece and nephew's house. Maybe go play fetch with his dog at the dog park. I don't know. Play on his fucking PlayStation. Anything is better than playing around with whatever kind of woman this mindset comes out of. Thank you. No lies were told today.
Alright, woman says, do you notice that men are no longer persuasive? Once they ask you out on a date and you say no, that's it, with a little frustrated emoji. And guy replies, top comment, if I want to play games, I got a PlayStation. Oh, that's great. Well done from this guy. Yeah, you know what, man, if a girl's not interested, don't bother, do your own thing, focus on your own goals, your own purpose, or your PlayStation. There are better things to do than try to chase women these days. And ladies out there, a lot of guys are also worried about the whole Me Too movement, false allegations, and being labeled a creep. Women throw around the word creep for men so often these days that if a girl says no, yeah, leave her alone. Bye.
I cheated on my ex.
Yeah, I hurt him a lot because I'm also his first girlfriend and everything.
What was it that made you want to cheat on him?
I always wanted to like self-destruct, self-sabotage, but he was like best boyfriend. He treated me right. I don't know what happened, and that's my biggest regret.
Since our separation, I've been with someone who is better in bed. So Jen, after the breakup, there was someone else who was even better.
When we broke up, I was with someone that just gave me everything in the short amount of time that for 8 years I couldn't even feel with him.
I thought I gave my all because that's all I knew.
We're like almost 30 now, like we should have like a family and kids. Or I mean like it's expected of me to have family and kids.
We don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
The modern dating scene is like a ridiculous game of hide and seek, where women toy with men's emotions. Whether they're in their 20s or pushing 40, these women love the thrill of being chased and having men emotionally at their feet. They get a kick out of it and brag to their friends saying, "I can get anything I want, even in the middle of the night, because there's always some guy willing to do anything to turn a no into a yes." Well, men have left that chat. These women are finally realizing that the days of keeping men dangling and using them as emotional baggage carriers and ATMs are over. That era is done. Men have stopped simping and are fully aware of their myriad options. There's no limit to how much they can explore. It's been a game all along. I've heard women admit that their answers don't always mean what they say. A yes might mean yes, but a no could mean yes, but I want him to try harder. Isn't that absurd? We're all adults, we're busy, and we know what we want. Why make a man chase for the thrill of it? Even toddlers understand what no means. So why would a grown woman with decades of life experience insist that no means try harder? One of us has to be dumb, and it's not me. I know what no means. I don't want what you're offering, so get out of my face.
You want a guy to be a provider, correct? When you get married, how much of the household income do you want to be contributing?
Like money-wise?
Yeah. You want him to be the sole breadwinner, correct?
Yes.
You think you'll be able to get that, correct?
Yes.
How many men do you think can go out into the dating marketplace and want to provide zero financially and expect to get a partner?
I don't know.
Very, very few. The vast majority of women, as a lot of the women here answered, I want a guy who makes at least as much as me or more. Or I want a guy to be the sole provider. So could it be the case that the reason that there's a patriarchy and that men occupy the highest positions of power and the most desirable jobs and make the most money is because there's a mating pressure on men that does not exist in women?
Well, that's because we don't have to. No means no. If I go up to a girl and I ask her, hey, let's meet up sometime, or hey, let's go out, and she doesn't say yes, she says anything but a yes, then it's a no. And as a man, you move on. But the reality is, as a man, you only pursue those that want to be pursued. Okay? You will only go out with those who actually want your time and attention. Back in the day, men would apply pressure. But you know why? It's because you would get rewarded. You took a girl out several times and you guaranteed your spot in her life. That's how it was. You know, essentially your provision was landing you the girl. All you had to do was go through some dates, and if you liked her, she was yours. Now that's not the case anymore. A girl, you could go out with her as many times as you want, and she doesn't have to give you nothing in return. In fact, she doesn't ever have to do nothing for you. So that's the reality of what dating looks like for a man in 2023. So as you can see with all those comments, the reality is men will ask you once, maybe twice, and that's it. And a lot of women don't understand that most men also have issues with communication just like they do. So sometimes they can't read you if you're joking. So like I said, no means no. It's so easy, even a fucking caveman can do it.
When women say no, it often means one of two things. The first is keeping men in the friend zone, which they find pleasurable. They say no, but still want you around, hoping you'll continue to pursue them. The second reason is to create a safety net. By subtly saying no, they can later claim, I told you no, but you didn't listen, if the man feels entitled after doing a lot for her. Essentially, they use this to have their needs met and their bills paid without committing. This game has been played over and over, and men have realized it's a trap. It's not a good place to be, and women are starting to notice that their game is exposed. They're rethinking their tactics because they might not get another chance once the man walks away. Women are even going back to men they previously told no because they realize they're losing out by playing these childish and irresponsible games. I've experienced this firsthand. I asked a girl out and she left my message on read. Later, she slid into my DMs with a well-composed no. Maybe she knew about me and wanted to prove something to her friends. I don't know. So I responded with a simple 4-letter word. Okay. A few weeks later, she came back, asking silly questions about the previous date and whether I was still interested. I ignored her message and moved on. I don't find it strange if a woman says no to me for a date because not every modern woman appreciates my values as a masculine guy, and that's fine. But it would be a mistake to simp just to get a girl to say yes. That's not happening in this world. I wouldn't be able to face my friends if I did that. It's just not worth it.
I had an ex that did everything to pursue me. I am talking wine and dine, have these deep emotional moments with me. I mean, we would cry together. He would write these love letters to me. I mean, one day I remember saying I was sick, and maybe like 20 minutes later, there was a knock on my door, and my doorman came up, and he had delivered soup for me. Oh. And I think even a humidifier. This is so random. I was sick and like clean, like, a whole thing. Yeah, right. And this was like the norm for the first 2 years of our relationship, to the point where even his family and his friends were like, this is a changed man. We've never seen this version. So, and that fed my ego. That made me feel like, oh my gosh, like I've changed him. He's totally different. This is real. This is true. And then 2 years into the relationship, once the love experience, the in-love experience had ended, he was a completely different person. He was cold. Seeing this version. So, and that fed my ego. That made me feel like, oh my gosh, like I've changed him. He's totally different. This is real. This is true. And
This is often how women attempt to justify their situation after men have moved on. They quickly shift focus away from their own mistakes and instead emphasize the man's reaction to those mistakes. They might loudly complain about how the man grew distant and stopped showing affection, but they conveniently gloss over the role their own ego played in the situation. To a certain extent, I can shed light on the shift from a loving, attentive man to a distant one, ultimately leading to their breakup. Initially, this man showered her with love and treated her like royalty. His consistent display of affection was so remarkable that even his family and friends noticed and commended her for it. However, after 2 years of being loving, her ego took over. She likely stopped reciprocating his gestures, feeling entitled to his love. As a result, the man gradually withdrew his affection, feeling that it wasn't worth it anymore. He ceased expressing himself towards her as before, because the person he had showered with love had changed and no longer seemed deserving of such treatment. I find it perplexing when I see women become upset because a man they rejected decides to walk away. It's absurd. You pushed someone away, and now you're upset that he's gone. What do you expect men to do? One thing men should never do is cling to a place where they are not wanted. Such places are where they will stagnate. Move to where you are appreciated, kings. Women understand this well. They never stay where they are not wanted. It's a principle men should also apply, especially in matters concerning women. If women are upset because men are no longer content being relegated to the friend zone or being treated as mere options, that's understandable. It's a justified cause.
Women are upset at men after being rejected because men are walking away. For any circumstances when you meet someone and that person is not willing to be transparent with you, playing games and thinking life is just not serious and being control freak and being narcissistic and all these circumstances, why should men pursue something like that? I will not waste my time. Time is precious. So guys, I need to learn how to keep my time. And time, it's money. That's all we have, right? I cannot go back from yesterday, but I need to learn my mistakes from today and move on. Modern women are upset because they've been rejected, because men see clear now. Like the video, subscribe, leave your thought down in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video.